Boris Nikolaevich Yeltsin was born on February 1, 1931, in Butka, a small village in the Sverdlovsk region of Russia, into a peasant family. His father, Nikolai, was a construction worker, and his mother, Klavdia, was a seamstress. Yeltsin grew up in poverty, sharing a single room with his family in a communal apartment. Known for his rebellious streak, he lost 2 fingers on his left hand as a teenager due to an accident with a stolen grenade. He excelled academically, particularly in mathematics, and was known for his athleticism and strong personality. Early career and rise in the Communist Party. Yeltsin studied civil engineering at the Ural Polytechnic Institute, graduating in 1955. He worked as a construction foreman and later rose through the ranks of the Soviet construction industry. In 1961, he joined the Communist Party of the Soviet Union (CPSU), a necessary step for career advancement in the USSR. By 1968, he transitioned to full-time party work, becoming a regional official in Sverdlovsk. His organizational skills and energy led to his appointment as first secretary of the Sverdlovsk Regional Party Committee in 1976, where he oversaw industrial and infrastructural development. In 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev, the new Soviet leader, brought Yeltsin to Moscow as first secretary of the Moscow City Party Committee. Yeltsin's blunt style and populist gestures, like riding public transport to connect with ordinary citizens, made him a standout. However, his impatience with Gorbachev's cautious reforms led to clashes. In 1987, Yeltsin publicly criticized the slow pace of perestroika restructuring, and resigned from his post after a dramatic confrontation with party leaders, a rare act of defiance in Soviet politics. He was demoted but remained a figure of public intrigue. Political comeback and rise to power. Yeltsin capitalized on Gorbachev's democratization reforms, winning a seat in the Congress of People's Deputies in 1989 with overwhelming public support. In 1990, he was elected chairman of the Russian Supreme Soviet, the legislature of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic. He pushed for greater autonomy for Russia within the USSR, famously declaring, "Take as much sovereignty as you can swallow." His rivalry with Gorbachev intensified as he advocated for radical economic and political reforms. In June 1991, Yeltsin won Russia's first democratic presidential election, becoming the first popularly elected leader in Russian history. His defining moment came during the August 1991 coup attempt by hardline communists seeking to oust Gorbachev and halt reforms. Yeltsin famously climbed atop a tank outside the Russian White House, rallying citizens to resist the coup. His defiance galvanized opposition, and the coup collapsed within days, cementing Yeltsin's status as a national hero. Presidency 1991–1999. Early years and economic reforms. After the coup, Yeltsin emerged as the dominant figure in Russian politics as the Soviet Union unraveled. In December 1991, he, along with the leaders of Ukraine and Belarus, signed the Belovezha Accords, effectively dissolving the USSR and establishing the Commonwealth of Independent States (CIS). As president of an independent Russia, Yeltsin faced immense challenges: a collapsing economy, ethnic tensions, and a fragmented political system. Yeltsin launched aggressive market reforms, known as shock therapy, under the guidance of young economists like Yegor Gaidar. These included price liberalization, privatization of state assets, and cuts to subsidies. While intended to transition Russia to a market economy, the reforms led to hyperinflation, mass poverty, and a sharp decline in living standards. By 1993, Yeltsin's popularity waned as oligarchs amassed wealth while ordinary Russians struggled. Constitutional crisis in Chechnya. Yeltsin's presidency was marked by power struggles with the Russian parliament, which resisted his reforms. Tensions culminated in the 1993 constitutional crisis, when Yeltsin dissolved parliament, prompting a violent standoff. He ordered the military to shell the White House, killing dozens and consolidating his authority. A new constitution, approved in December 1993, granted the president significant powers, shaping Russia's political system. In 1994, Yeltsin launched the First Chechen War to suppress a separatist movement in the North Caucasus Republic. The brutal conflict, marked by heavy civilian casualties and Russian military failures, further eroded his support. A ceasefire in 1996 temporarily halted the fighting, but the war damaged Yeltsin's reputation and Russia's international standing. Re-election in decline. Despite health issues, including heart problems exacerbated by heavy drinking, Yeltsin ran for re-election in 1996. Facing a strong challenge from communist Gennady Zyuganov, he relied on oligarchs and media tycoons to secure victory in a controversial campaign. His health deteriorated further, and he underwent quintuple heart bypass surgery shortly after the election. Yeltsin's second term was marked by economic stagnation, corruption scandals, and his increasingly erratic behavior. In 1998, Russia faced a severe financial crisis, with the ruble collapsing and defaults on debt. Yeltsin's government struggled to stabilize the economy, and his frequent dismissals of prime ministers added to the chaos. By 1999, his approval ratings were in the single digits. Resignation and legacy. On December 31, 1999, Yeltsin stunned the world by resigning, naming Prime Minister Vladimir Putin as his successor. In a televised address, he apologized for failing to deliver on the promise of prosperity, asking for forgiveness. His resignation paved the way for Putin, who granted Yeltsin immunity from prosecution. Personal life and death. Yeltsin married Naina Iosifovna in 1956, and they had two daughters, Yelena and Tatiana. His personal life was overshadowed by his struggles with alcoholism, which became a public issue during his presidency, leading to embarrassing incidents abroad. After retiring, Yeltsin lived quietly in Moscow, occasionally commenting on politics but largely staying out of the spotlight. He died of heart failure on April 23, 2007, at age 76. Legacy. Yeltsin's legacy is deeply polarizing. Supporters credit him with dismantling Soviet authoritarianism, introducing democratic institutions, and laying the foundation for a market economy. Critics argue his reforms were chaotic, enriching a few while impoverishing millions, and his consolidation of power set the stage for Putin's authoritarianism. The Chechen War and economic turmoil remain dark stains on his record. In Russia, he is often remembered as a flawed but pivotal figure who navigated the country through a turbulent transition.